I wanted to cover this article in its own specific video. Exclusivity has cost Square Enix a lot. Why they continued to be in bed with Sony is interesting to me. Now, some of you have said that there seems to have been some encouragement among companies in Japan to support one another, to continue to give them the business edge and so on and so forth. But the crazy thing is exclusivity has always been some sort of a toxic business strategy. And I'm not saying this as businesses should not try their best to compete or whatnot or what in the world is going on. I'm not necessarily positing that. But I'm saying that it appears to me that when we're seeing the detriments of exclusivity, when things don't pan out, the effects are just quite large. So check out this particular article here. This was written from by Harvey Randall, and it's Square Enix here with a brutal 100 slide presentation from one of its shareholders about alleged mismanagement. Other shareholders asked to pitch in with frank views. He talks about Square Enix's rough couple of years, $140 million in losses, abandoned projects, Final Fantasy XIV slowly fading even though things are up again, sluggish Final Fantasy sales, and even a game like Babylon's Fall. They talk about this 100-slide presentation, which I've been trying to go ahead and track down, but I've not been able to go ahead and actually catch overall. But if the shareholders put together something like this, 3D investment partners, external perspective on your company's management challenges to Square Enix Holdings company. They talk to the president and such. Excitement, once again. It was never just entertainment. Once Square Enix was brought to life as a culture that shaped an era and an industry that fascinated the world. But today, Square Enix is really giving birth to something genuine. Is Square Enix giving birth to something genuinely new? Or has Square Enix turned away from the challenges before it and let its steps falter? We know this. For Square Enix, every challenge has always been a chance. The power to overcome countless obstacles and bring forth works that felt like miracles into the world. Well, when you make miracles exclusive, not many can, experience it. Once again, surprise us, move us, and ignite the passion we once felt. For gamers across the globe, we've been waiting endlessly for that irreplaceable experience. Stagnation in growth revenue, stagnation in operating profit margin, severe conglomerate discount, and a disclaimer at the end. Bro, this is insane, my guy. They literally clocked their T. That's how the youngins say it. And they put a lot of these different challenges that they've seen, and they've not seen, their return on investment. They're looking at everybody else. Everybody else seems to be, farming dough. Is that Bandai Namco I see? Who likes more multiplats? Is that EA I see? Is that Nexon I see? Look, it's Capcom. Hey, I'm going to laugh here because this was absolutely foreseen. And where are all the exclusivists? We have 100 pages of material to go through. I can't find any single one of you. Where are you guys? Sitting in your little corner telling me about exclusives. What are y'all doing there? You were heralding Final Fantasy 16. You sat there on the podcast. I remember you guys were all sitting there chanting, well, the gamer's not going to care. When they look and say we want to play Final Fantasy 16, where are they going to find it? They're going to find it on PlayStation. PlayStation don't walk the way with your company's potential growth and potential revenue. They've taken it to become the most profitable PlayStation generation ever. And they did it on your backs, on the backs of their gamers, who many of them so far that continue to tell us that PlayStation is the best place to play, seem to not exercise, any means to tell us why that's actually discerning or prudent that we invest in PlayStation, because they know once they drop the mathematical numbers, it's going to explode in their faces. And they also did it on the backs of developers of third-party companies and firms. Look at this. The declining revenue has been driven by reduced sales in both HD games and SD game segments. Where are these people that were telling me that exclusives are actually great? Can you show your faces? No, you won't. Because, yeah, we got material to dig through. I'll save this, though, so I can whip it out later on. Square Enix H2 operating margin segment, fiscal year 2023. My gosh. That's wild. That's wild. Check this out. Top management priority. So, critical management challenge. Revenue decline in HG and Engagement segments can be broken down into the following management issues. Top management priority: stagnation in revenue. Then they create a chart. Declining sales in AG game segments. Declining sales in SD game segments. Lack of synergy with non-gaming business. Weak sales of catalog titles. Peak out DQW, a major revenue contributor. Revenue dependence on the domestic market. Lagging cross-media revenue. Lagging merchandise revenue. Look at this. Fragmentation of development portfolio. Deficiencies in platform selection. Deficiencies in product design. Do you know what this is? Underutilization of licensing out opportunities. Do you know what this is? This is the indictment against Exclusivity. Because they came back and they told you, they said, bro, we couldn't cut it. We couldn't cut it. Creative Business Unit 2 that did Final Fantasy 16, they got closed up and absorbed into another project. We told you. You know what y'all said? You said, no. They're doing other projects, man. $3 million units of sales was enough. Shareholders don't know what enough is. But then Square Enix came out and said, yeah, it seems like it underperformed because they knew the expectations that were there. They saw the market. They saw the other players actually basically selling software. Check this out. Stagnation in profit margins. Stagnation in profit margins of the HD game segment. Stagnation in profit margins of the SD game segment. HD game segment, excessive development costs. They got to go in there and go get deals, to finish their games. Make games that you can finish. You're Square Enix. You don't need to go and get excessive advertising and promotion expenses, excessive SG&A personnel expenses, excessive other SG&A expenses, excessive development and operating costs, excessive platform fees. Why would you have huge platform fees? If you're giving your games as exclusive to PlayStation, that should be wiped out. If you're going to do business like that. Dude, this thing is a bodying of all measures. Do you see it? Do you see it? I wonder what would have been the difference had their game launched, Final Fantasy 16, which was on Windows and Xbox. I wonder if, as 15 launched on these other platforms to the tune of 7 million or so units, I wonder what would have happened if it was able to go ahead and glean all those units. This is why we saw the developers of Final Fantasy 7 and Remake and 16 and whatnot all holding ROG Xbox Ally X's, because now they want to reach the market. There's now motivation to actually reach the market. You know why there's motivation to reach the market? Because now there seems to be something going on. Yeah, I told y'all. I said you're going to be mailing checks to these companies to have to keep them afloat, not just buying their games. You buy their games and then mail them a check. And even when you mail them a check, it's probably still not going to be enough. You think PlayStation is immune from this as well, too? Oh, you're going to be mailing checks to them, too, for your, exclusivity charade to actually, maybe in a sense, provide more of a fake facade. Once again, that's what you're going to do. Yes. And if you're not going to do that, you might as well kiss those exclusives goodbye. Well, they already kissed them goodbye for you, as they're only going to be making just some of them. Hey, the math was always telling you that this was the fact, but you let the fanboy actually cloud your judgment. Hold the L. Peace out.